And of course, in studio, we do have Gheida Abdala Omar. She is the founder Girls I Save Africa. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How is the weather out there?
I love it. It brings like Nairobi vibes,
Yeah.
which is absolutely good for Mombasa.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, feels good. I think I picked the wrong outfit for the weather today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mi nilipata memo.
You did?
Sio naona kidogo leo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're a bit warm.
Yeah.
Gheida, good morning.
Good morning.
We want to talk about the art of networking.
Yes.
Before we talk about how people should do it or the mistakes that people make, has networking helped you
Yes.
in any way?
In a lot of ways. Like,
Share that.
I think networking is something that many people as young people like you need to like embrace.
Yeah.
But I will talk this in terms of my own experience.
Yes.
One of it is as the founder of Girls I Save and a young scientist Kenya and STEM advocate for young people, I usually visit different occasions, conferences and meetings at different level beyond just Mombasa.
Yeah.
So mostly when you go to like places like Nairobi and in a big conference, I will talk of one scenario during the Young Scientist Kenya 2023.
Yeah.
The national exhibition was taking place in Nairobi and I happened to have been a part of the STEM judges. So the conference was going on and we were meeting different kind of people. There were different, seminars going on in different rooms and stuff. I happened to go to one of the rooms that Chinese team was representing about the universities and technologies that opportunities in China have. So I was really intrigued by the speaker and the way he was presenting. His name is like Dr. Rupesh. So I didn't know much about him at that point.
Yes.
So I just, while seated, I did like a background check. I was like, who is Dr.? I just searched like Dr. Rupesh and then a little bit of his bio and information came through. Obviously, we have Google search and stuff, which is a very powerful tool. Because before you get to someone, you need to at least have a bit of what you need to know about this person. So after I got off the stage, I was like, hey, good morning, sir. How are you? There was a barrier in communication, obviously, because he's Chinese and the English was a little bit, crazy. But I was able to connect with him through his presentation because I found that was the easiest way for me. So based on what he said, I actually pitched what I do in like 1 minute time. And immediately we had the conversation pick up. And it's not like a mere pick up and that is. The conversation went on. We had several calls after the event.
Yeah.
We were having follow-up meetings. And next you find me in China. They invited me for a conference to speak on innovation and technology. Because obviously if someone doesn't know about what you do, sometimes it's always good to bring yourself out there.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the like very big, I would say, connection that I made through the conference, and it led to future, like collaborations. In fact, I went to China last year. This year, early March, the team from China came to Mombasa.
Wow.
We had like tours to schools. We had like, collaboratives in different programs here in Mombasa. So that is the power, I would say, of networking that actually worked for me. And that is like one of the many. There's so much instance that I would say, even connecting to Swahili Port Hub, I was in the innovation presentation in TUM at the university during our multidisciplinary conference, and that's how I met Mentor, and that's how I met Akina Tito, and we had exchange contacts. I shared my profiles, and we had the conversation moving forward. Otherwise probably nobody will know that I exist. So sometimes I feel like networking is you need to be very cautious and precise in how you do it, because not everybody wants to listen to a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody might ask that I think I've seen this online a lot of times that, people talk about networking, but when it comes to these events, how do you identify the events to go for?
Yes.
And once you get, so one, how do you identify the events to go for that would be valuable to you?
Exactly.
And then number 2 would be, once I'm at this function,
yes,
how do I start? Do I go and introduce myself and say, hi, so-and-so, and this is what I do? Like, how do you engage?
Yes. So one, I would say social media is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
Most of these events are usually advertised like on different platforms.
Yeah.
You need to just maybe work with specific platforms. Obviously, for professional meetups and stuff, you find a lot of information on LinkedIn. But overall, even in Instagram, sometimes you'd find, like post, let's say, Young Scientist Kenya, Swahili Pod Hubs posts about Pwani Innovation Week. So the most important thing is you need to identify how do you connect with these events. Like, is it your goal? Is it something that aligns with what you do? Like, basically for me, I really usually go for events that are STEM oriented, events that bring about innovation, STEM event that talk about building and sustainable global events and stuff. So you need to be very directive, one, in what kind of events do you want to go for.
Yeah.
Because definitely if you are into drama and stuff, you wouldn't find yourself in a conference that focuses on STEM and innovation. Maybe you'd focus on drama festivals and stuff. So you need to be very directive in what kind of conference do you want to go for, based on your interest and your like a line of work.
Yeah.
And then secondly is, how do you identify some of these programs? So like I mentioned, you can use social media platforms, as well as be on the lookout. There's a platform in LinkedIn called the Opportunities for Youth. This is a platform that always updates different kind of forums, fellowships. There's one called Opportunities for Africa. It's actually a website where you go and it tells you all the conferences that are gonna maybe take place in March, in April, across Kenya, across Africa. So it is you to be on the lookout. Sometimes you always have to be there. And I think also with the people you connect with, sometimes someone would be, okay, Gheida, there's a STEM and innovation conference happening, would you like mind to come in? Or sometimes even through the people that you've been working with at some point, and along the same line you find yourself, okay, this event aligns with what you do. So I think those are the key elements I would mention when it comes to identifying. But be very specific, that's what I can say. Because if I'm going to a STEM and innovation conference, obviously now that comes to your question, how do you prepare yourself? Sometimes there are people who usually even keep a goal, like before this event ends, I need to have at least picked like 5 contacts and or maybe 10 contacts, but very reasonable, likable to what you do. So I think the best option would be for you, people, when you talk to someone, everybody wants to hear what you have for them. So I think for me, when it comes to like, if I'm going to an event and speakers are speaking, if whether it's a panel speaker or it's an individual speaker, the easiest way to connect with them is to be keen in what they're presenting. Find something that can connect both of you through the presentation. Because obviously if you're in a STEM conference, let's say, or an innovation space, then there must be something that the speaker will speak and you will connect with. And then use that connecting point to start the conversation. Oh, hey, by the way, you mentioned about, sustainable development goals. I think that is what aligns with my work. You've already draft the curiosity of the person you're talking to be able to listen to you more. Because most of these events, people are always in rush, up and down, someone has meeting to catch and stuff. But be very find something that you can praise them for as well. Or oh, I really love your presentation, and I think there's something that really intrigued in me to be able to just add something from what this speaker actually said. So that one can be a very good way to connect with someone at an instant. But you need to be very confident at the same time with what you do and how purposeful are you going to this person for. Sometimes you want to connect with someone, peer, like have an idea of what exactly do I want from this person. Do you want like maybe a referral to something else, or maybe a connecting to something else? So I think that is what I can say.
When it comes to networking, is it advisable kwamba ukuwe na niche yako specifically, kwamba mimi naenda hapa lakini pengine nitakuwa naongelea natafuta connections kwa sababu mimi niko kwa communication department, ama unaenda tu wewe unapiga yoyote bora tu watu upatane na watu?
No, I think it is very important for you to have a specific niche. Just like I said, you're gonna meet so many people from different backgrounds. perhaps yes, it's a STEM conference, but maybe for you, you're looking for someone who is maybe in the communication. So obviously in the whole conference we would have a communications department. So maybe not directly through the speakers who are speaking, but you could be able to get in touch with the communications department of that event. Maybe if it's Kenya, like Kenya Innovation Agency, that's a big, organization. So you'd want to connect yourself with either any of them. So it is always directive, but not necessarily towards like the whole conference of something. You could meet someone that could be of benefit at that point. Yes.
Okay. Now now you're attending this event. You show up for the event and you've identified, okay, I want to attend this event because it would be beneficial to me, and I'll probably meet people that I can grow with, right?
Yes.
So a conversation starter.
Yeah.
You've said, first of all, identify, right?
Yes.
Identify something that the speaker said that might draw their attention to you.
Yes.
Now we're done with the event and we've exchanged contacts.
Yeah.
There's now that point of, now how do we maintain the conversation? Because people might, you might attend this function.
Yeah.
You've built the network. I've gotten Gheida's number.
Yes.
But now after, how do I keep up this conversation?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then also, how do I not make it look like I'm desperate to gain something from you? Because I feel like that also tends to push people away.
Very
when
true.
you act like all I want is something from you.
Yeah.
How do you maintain a balanced conversation?
Yeah. So what I would really say is that after every event or something that you go into and you meet someone, make sure you're able to get back to them within the next like 24 to 48 hours. Perfectly. Because the moment you push it out of that, someone would now try to ask themselves, where did I even meet Gheida?
Yes.
And how you approach it is very key. Literally, when it comes to, professional event and someone offers their professional cards and you have their email there, go for that first.
Okay.
Introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Gheida. We met during the STEM and Innovation Conference or the Disability Conference in Nairobi, and you happen to be a speaker, and we connected through one of your specific thing. You have to mention that, so that it's literally, because that person might have met over maybe 10,000 or 100 people, just not only you. So you need to be able to create the memory back from the same conversation you had, so that it becomes like clear to that person, like oh yeah, now I remember it's Gheida. Maybe not entirely Gheida, but they will grasp from the conversation. So just write a short email, like, and the first instant is you don't directly ask someone what exactly you want. You're just sending the first email. So maybe that email is just like a connecting email to remind, like, hey, this conversation needs to keep on going. So you just do like a very small short email, like, hey, we met at this conference, it is lovely meeting you, I'm really looking forward to learn from you. Let them know that at one point, yes, you want to learn from them, but you're also not. And maybe you can just talk of, hey, can we hop on a call maybe next on your free time schedule? Let me know the schedule that you want me to put in the calendar and stuff. Make it very professional, like when you're dealing with professional teams. Sometimes I find it very weird. I've experienced that, you go to event and yes, you share someone your email or your phone number, and the next thing someone texts you, hi. I'm like, hi. It gives you like, who is this?
Go straight to the point.
Go straight to the point, and very important is introduce yourself. Very, very, very good. Hi, my name is so and so, and we met during the Pwani Innovation Week. And it's good to connect with you. Give it that fast. If it's a message in WhatsApp, give it that brief, short, professional way. And then maybe later on, when you come back now to me again, Gheida, there's this event, I think I want to invite you as a speaker, or I want us to connect in this program. Now that will make sense, because I'll definitely go back to the chat and know how did personally I do that. Like, how did my conversation with this person start? And that way it becomes very much easier, because definitely you go to different events, you meet so many people. So if you don't put it like in a very professional way and concise, it becomes like crazy, because personally mi nasawingi vitu haraka. So if you don't do it that way, it becomes hard for me to understand. And if you just text me like, hey, by the way, I don't even reply to many highs because sababu sijui ni nani. So
All right, then. We are speaking to Gheida, Abdala, Omar, and we're looking at the arts of networking. And she is, of course, the founder, Girls I Save Africa. What mistakes do you always make when networking? I know people make a lot of mistakes. We'll come back and talk about that in a bit. Good morning. In studio, we have Gheida, Abdala, Omar. She is the founder Girls I Save Africa. And we're looking at the art of networking. Now, going for events is not cheap.
Yes.
So there are events where I think most of them you have to pay. Did you find yourself paying for a lot of events to build this network?
Okay, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Actually, for me, I wouldn't say like I really like paid a lot for some of these events.
Yeah.
Because of my journey in STEM and innovation, I always, like go there either as speaker or as a mentor or as a STEM educator or as an advocate for STEM and innovation. So most of this program is, like sponsored by the organizers and staff.
Yeah.
But literally, I think within Mombasa, there are a couple of events that I've attended that are paid for just because you want to go and learn and like hear what other people do and get to connect with other women and maybe young people within Mombasa. So I think within Mombasa there are a couple of events that I paid for to go, but generally most of these events are like on invite base. But again, if it's a conference that is open and people are supposed to pay, I think sometimes big organizations and like big people at different profile usually pay to go to these events. And someone will ask, why should I pay like 10,000 for just a dinner? But
it's not just
a dinner. The people you connect and network with at different level is what takes you there. Most people pay for this networking event not because maybe they want to go for food or stuff, but it's because they know this kind of person is going to be here and my goal is to meet this person, so definitely I have to go there. There's two scenarios I would mention, which it's actually very funny.
Go ahead.
But I will connect this with the using flights and using buses. I am not, there was a time I was, coming from Nairobi to Mombasa, and I happened to meet Miss Charlene Ruto at the airport. And then recently I was traveling again from Nairobi to Mombasa. I met CS Joho at the airport again. So I asked myself, is it because, profile people, like you meet people at different level because of the profile? So sometimes just to connect to this event is like, sometimes pay for this event, just go get to connect with people, because along the people that you meet there, you might foster, like a very long collaboration. So even your money that you put in there becomes worth, The business people who go for business networking event and literally form partnerships within the same, like environment. So the 10,000 that you invested to go for that event probably, brought million of a partnership program or partnership business kind of event. So sometimes it is good to invest if you have the ability to do so. Even if it's here in Mombasa and it's a 2,000 event, don't look at it, it's just like an event. Look at it in terms of value. Like, what are you going to gain as an individual? Who are you going to, like meet in that event? So there are people, they put there, this person will be attending. So you need, or will be a speaker. Get to see the profile of these people. Is it someone you would want, to like meet on a, there's this, people go for, I don't know, maybe if a TikToker is coming to this place, someone will really want to go there. So sometimes based on your interest and your like line of work, if the people coming to that event are going to add value to you, do so.
So pretty much to go for these events, you have to invest, because I look at it as a way of investing in yourself as well.
Very, very true.
Because of the network 100%. That now you're going to build.
Very true.
Let's look at the mistakes that people also make when it comes to networking.
So some of the mistakes people do in networking, I believe, is communication. That is very key, very important, because you're going to someone, you don't know how to phrase, how you're going to put your work, and even how you're going to talk to this person. So communication as a skill is very essential, because not so many people want to hear a lot of words. So you need to be very, good in your communication skills. You don't just go to someone and you start talking a whole 3 minutes someone is just like nodding. The moment you do that, many of these people are like big people in high profile sometimes you meet up with, and they have so much to do, and you'll just find there's a scenario. So someone was cut short in the middle of conversation because you kept introducing yourself and you took long, and the person's like, hey, do you know I need to catch a meeting? And the person left. So sometimes some of these mistakes are things that you can teach yourself. Be able to practice. If someone asks you right now, introduce yourself, Omar, let me introduce myself, you have to have that like 1 or 30 seconds catchy introduction or 1 minute introduction, so that someone wants to hear more from you. And also don't make it look like it's all about you. You always sometimes put the benefits to the person that you are connecting with. Let them know like, oh, I appreciate your work. Oh, by the way, I saw you on social media. You do great work and stuff. Give them, the confidence for them to be able to know, okay, this person also knows a little bit about what I do. So I can give him or her my listening. So that is a very important, like thing you can work on, so that you don't fall into, miscommunication mistakes. And then importantly is also, do not just go to someone because you always need a favor from them. Sometimes even in connecting with people, for me I find it very 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 like unprofessional. You reach to someone and immediately you want to ask someone, oh, by the way, can you connect me with a job? Unapatanga mtu anakuambia hivyo. It is very awkward. It's very frustrating because most of people you meet in conference and event, they're always in favor of learning from each other. So it's not like a one-sided kind of thing. So sometimes they also want to learn about what you do. So don't make it look very unprofessional, which is not, it's a mistake that people can avoid. And also do a lot of research. Let's say you're going to a pre-event, do a little background research of these people, because right now you can find a lot of information on social media. Let's say you're going to an event and you find their Gheida is among the speakers. At least just go to Google. If you go to Google right now and type Gheida Abdala, you'll see a bit of information through all my connected social media and stuff. So that one gives you, an upper head. If you're coming to talk to me, at least there's something that you can connect for the both of us. So it's always good to do like background research. And also don't make your conversation very long. Just like I said, people are always in rushes when it comes to event and stuff. Someone maybe has to catch up another meeting and stuff. So make it very brief, very very brief. Have your own like 1 minute to 30-second introduction, and then now keep the conversation going, and immediately like exchange either cards, email if you're going somewhere.
In networking, would you say that one, you also need to try and offer value to the other person, so that it may not look like all you're doing is taking away, right?
Yes.
See, when you say when I meet up with Gheida, I'm all about how can you connect me to a job? How can you connect me to these opportunities of the events and what value? Because somebody might ask, okay, if I'm showing up to this event, how do I offer value, to the next person, so that it may be mutually beneficial. So I think at any given time when you go to event, you also have value that you can add. One is maybe in your professional growth, in terms of what you're going to get from the whole event. At the end of the day, Pia, it is very important, because whenever you're connecting with someone and you let them know what you do, that means you're also creating a bigger value for what people need to know about you and what you do. And that way the next person can either be able to join hands with you in what you do. You've added a bit of something else in what you already had. Let's say you formed a partnership with Angaza Center. You didn't have Angaza Center in you, like in terms of your work environment. So that is an added advantage to the other party, because they've also been able to get what Girls ISF does. So that is how it goes. Maybe on a later conversational that move beyond the day of event, because yes, you network today, but I don't think you would be able to get what you expect at the same day. Maybe if it's future collaboration or future partnership, that will go along the same line. But the value you can get on an instant is how you get that person to either share their email or their contact, or you sharing your email or your contact because of the work you do.
Labda nikuregesha pale nyuma kidogo wakati tumesema kwamba kutafuta si unamwona leo alafu maybe kesho ushaanza kuomba kazi. Lakini pia itachukua muda gani pengine ndo uone kile kitu chenye wewe unaweza pata kutoka kwao, kwa sababu kuna yule mwenye unamuongelesha leo akwambie maybe they are busy after 2 weeks, pia unajaribu tu ile kuongeleshana lakini unaona kama yuko engaged almost throughout.
To be honest, I find that is very normal at some point, because people are always busy, and for this person to be able to get, like directive to you, it might take, maybe it might take him time, but if you show a lot of, consistent, but in a very professional way, that's the whole point. Because if someone keeps, pestering you with phone calls, or maybe, just messages every time, someone might think, oh, this person is very annoying. Because why is this person keep text? Just put it very professional. And if you see like maybe there's no any response on their end and stuff, perhaps maybe it was not meant to come from that person. So go and look for other opportunities like that will help you get maybe job or something. So yes, sometimes you can get jobs through networking, obviously 100%, but not like very directive. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you might connect with someone today, and at one point they see an opportunity and they feel like, oh, by the way, I met Gheida, she does STEM and innovation, let me share this link with her. And that is sometimes that is how it happens. So it's not like very directive hivyo.
Is there a point ambayo sasa unaweza sema hii ni kama haita work, ama sasa because nafikiria kuna wale wengine like I think I had Miriam yesterday akiongelea mtu aliongea then a year later ndo sasa ameanza kumwambia by the way kuna hii na hii. So kuna time inafaa pengine ufike useme ujiambie tu kwamba hii pengine ilikuwa haita work, ama wewe unafaa tu kujua kwamba huyu at some point to limit, so maybe someday sometime bado tu kuna mahali tunaweza patana na ikawaka.
I think if you take it in two ways, it could be helpful. One is ukijiambia maybe I have tried, maybe on the other party that person has not found something that is very connective, that anaweza kwambia okay, this one you can go for it at that point maybe, and you tried to do a reminder and nothing worked. Perhaps you can just give it ujiamue to maybe it was not meant to be, but back in your mind you need to know that maybe the other party also is maybe still finding something for you, but not maybe hajapata naye, but the moment they get that, definitely they will shoot it your way. I think for me that one has happened several times. We've connected at some point, we had conversation, I was like, if you get any opportunities that maybe are related to STEM and innovation, do hit me up, like at some point Evo. And then the conversation went very silent, but immediately this person comes up with a program or something that have seen, and they always remember, okay, I think this one can align with Gheida. You'll just find someone mentioning you in that post, in that comment, or sharing it via email, or even via WhatsApp and stuff. So sometimes you have to be very light enough and patient. I feel like sometimes that's also a mistake we make, and you start to think, oh, it didn't work, just take it very
you see, when we look at networking, it shouldn't be that I'm going to this function, and when I meet Gheida, I'm expecting Gheida to get me a job opportunity or to connect me to an opportunity, very right?
True.
That's, I think, even in the story, in the example that I was sharing yesterday, it's more like somebody I met, and I was like, okay, our careers tend to intertwine in one way or another. So for me, that felt like a friendship, an acquaintance.
Exactly.
Yes, that I would actually keep close, right? So even for a period of a year, 2 years later on, we're still there, and it's more like, hi, how are you doing? I'm doing this, just checking in bit by bit. And eventually when something came through, they threw me that bone.
Exactly.
That
is it.
So it's just working. It's working this acquaintance that you feel like, okay, there's a way we can connect eventually, but not looking at it like I'm going to this function, because, I'm going to this event,
I need to get,
and I need to get this. I think that's where we fail.
I would mention of a scenario which was very. I met Ben Roberts. He used to be the CTO of a tech company in Nairobi. And during the Young Scientist Kenya, at that point, I always say it funny, but it's not funny as well. I was in school, I was in Form 4, I was presenting, Girls ISF as a project. So we had gone for a boot camp, and he was among the speakers. And immediately he dropped off the stage. At that point, I didn't even know what networking is, to be honest. I was still in school. So I just reached out to him. Hi, sir. I really liked what you said, and I believed you had like a chit chat like for like 3 minutes and stuff, and it made an impression. I think it made an impression on him. And moving forward, we met again. I think a year later at the Pwani Innovation Week in 2022 at Swahili Port Hub.
Yeah.
And I happened to raise my hand. I was asking a question, and then Ben Robert was among the panel who was sitting in the panel discussion. And imagine he picked the mic and said, "Oh, but that's Gheida. I know him from Young Scientist Kenya. She asked this question and stuff." And that way made our conversation after the panel, become even more productive. And to that, like, if there's anything related to STEM and innovation, you would see Ben Robert, sharing that to me. ASAP. We don't have like a very big communication, but there is always that communication that picks up whenever we meet, picks up whenever, there's something that can connect us. And also it is very important sometimes to have this contact. If you get contact, like save them or even share social media, because people want to see what you do. There's a scenario I connected with someone sometime like a year back as well. And I explained what I do and stuff, but maybe someone had like benefit of, we can say benefit of doubt.
Yes.
But the good thing, I saved the number, and the person kept, seeing my work on status and, LinkedIn and stuff. And like, okay, a year later, I was like, okay, so this is what you've been doing. I think you've been doing, great work, and I think this opportunity will be good for you. So sometimes it comes in that way. So you'll find different scenarios.
All right. Thank you so much, Gheida. Thank you for making time.
Thank you.
This has been great. We have been speaking to Gheida Abdala. She is the founder, Girls I Save Africa. And we've been looking at the art of networking. I hope you have learned. Good morning.